Okay, I think we're good. Finally figured out StreamYard. Happy Friday, everybody. If you are joining us live, I'm Gabrielle. I'm the admin of this group, if you don't know me. And today I'm really, really excited for us to do this live demo with Jane, EHR, who I truly have no other way to put this except that I'm obsessed. I love Jane. I love that it does all the things that I want in an EHR. And so I'm really excited to be able to share this all with you. So we have Amy here who's going to walk us through a demo, and also Lauren from the ambassador team. And we will be keeping an eye on the chat. So if you're live, feel free to drop any questions or comments in the chat, and we will keep an eye on that. And if you're watching the replay, always put hashtag replay so that we get notified and we can come back and make sure that we answer any of your questions. Take it away, Amy.
Awesome. Thank you. Hello, everyone. I am so excited to be here and talk with you about Jane today. My name is Amy. I am the manual therapy advocate at Jane, and I wanted to introduce you to Jane. So Jane is your all-in-one practice management software, or EMR. It starts with online booking. We do scheduling, billing, and that does include U.S. insurance billing as well, charting, and even cash pay patients, all of that in one platform. So today we're going to cover a few things. We're going to talk a little bit about online booking and the client workflow. We're going to talk about charting and intake forms. And then we're going to focus on billing and payment processing. So things such as all of our insurance features and our integrated payment system. And then we're also going to talk a little bit about importing. So if you're currently with another system, how does that data come over into Jane? So I'm going to do a quick switch from my presentation here, and we are going to head over to our demo clinic. So what we're looking at here is actually the website that we built with our partner Clinic Sites. And Clinic Sites is a web host, and they're also a web creator. They use amazing AI to create websites. And the reason why I start here is because whether you're in need of a website, and Clinic Sites might be a great option for you, or if you already currently have a website, you're able to put a book now button on your website. Once you've gone ahead and clicked that button, you're going to be taken to your booking site. Now, this is our demo clinic booking site. Our demo clinic is set up to be multi-location and multi-practitioner. As a solo practitioner, your site is going to look a little bit more like this. If you are a solo practitioner, or if you're a single location, it's going to look a little bit more like this. So everything that you see here that's in this beautiful Jane blue will be in your branding colors. So this will be your logo. You can add a background to the page. The idea here that the switch between your website and your booking site looks pretty seamless from the client point of view. When they're ready to go ahead and book with you, they're going to be able to click on an appointment type, and then they'll be able to click on a date and time that works for them. I'm just going to head into my next few days. And then I'm going to be able to book more than one appointment. This can be really helpful, especially if you are working with families or couples. They have the ability to have their profiles linked together so that they can actually book for each other. And then if I can say, whoops, don't book that, because this is happening in real time. If you were looking at your schedule, you would actually see a little box appear so you couldn't accidentally double book yourself. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit continue. That's going to take me to my next stage of, oh my goodness, it's going to take me to my next stage, which normally has my demo clinic. Bear with me one quick second. I'm just going to open up my demo clinic this way. My apologies. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and book myself another appointment. Wonderful. And then that's going to take me to my final stage, which is the thanks for booking page, which has all the information that your client's going to need to know, the date and time of their appointment, as well as they're going to be able to opt in and out of different email or text reminders, which you are able to set up in Jane and are unlimited to you if you are on our Practice or Thrive plans. They can fill out any intake paperwork that is associated with this treatment. They can subscribe to their personal calendars with to your booking site. So any appointments that they make with you are going to show up on their personal calendars. And then your cancellation policy will be here. And we give you some basic language, but you're able to change or update that as need be. So that's the basics of the client experience. Do we have any questions in the chat about that?
No, we're all good. Keep going, Amy.
Awesome. All right. Well, then let's head to really quickly to the My Account. So this is another area that all of your clients are going to have access to. And this is whether or not you choose to offer online booking. So you do have the ability to have online booking or not, but everyone's going to have access to the My Account. This is basically your client's portal to your site. Again, all the branding that you see here will be your branding. They will be able to fill out any intake paperwork. They will be able to test their setup for any online calls that they might have. So Jane does offer one-on-one online calls included in our plans. And then we also have the option to do group online calls as well. They'll be able to test their setup and launch a call from here. They'll be able to see their upcoming appointments as well as their appointment history. They're going to be able to see any credit cards they have on file. If you are using Jane Payments, which is Jane's integrated processor, you're going to be able to have your client keep cards on file. They can manage those cards. If they have multiple, they can remove some, but there will always remain a card on file. If that needs to be removed or changed, they'll need to reach out to you. They're going to be able to, again, opt in and out of any appointment reminders that you have set up. And then they also will be able to manage their passwords and logins. They'll also, of course, be able to book an appointment from here.
Amy, I feel like this is a really great time for, I believe it's Gilly is how you'd pronounce it, if not Jilly. Are appointments scheduling contingent on clients completing all necessary paperwork?
Great question. So when the paperwork goes out, like the appointment is booked once they have gone through the workflow. As soon as the appointment is booked, then the paperwork goes out. So the appointment date will continue to come. They will get their notifications once you're going to be looking on the schedule and in that patient's account just to make sure they filled out that paperwork prior to the appointment time.
Mm-hmm. But I think to answer her question, it's not necessarily like the appointment will be canceled if they haven't filled out their paperwork.
That is correct. Yes, absolutely. The appointment is created, the paperwork goes, but if the paperwork does not get completed, there's no automatic canceling feature.
Correct. Okay, thank you.
Awesome. Thanks. All right. So if we don't have any further questions, I'm going to head into the administrative side of Jane. Right. So when you log into Jane as a practitioner, you're going to land here, which is your home base or your day view. You're going to see on the left-hand side, we have all of today's appointments showing. And then we have this big graph. By default is showing the last 30 days of some really cool information. Your total clients, total visits, utilization, top clients, top treatments, where you're at with signing your notes, all of that wonderful stuff. And the reason that this takes up a lot of space on here is because this is actually where we recommend you do your session notes, as well as do any financial things such as checking that patient out if they have a copay or they're a cash pay patient, as well as making sure that your billing codes are on there. And I'm going to come back to this and we're going to talk about that in detail once we've talked a little bit more about charting. I just want to take you to the schedule really quickly. So and on our schedule, we can see our shifts for the week. At this location, Maya only has a couple of shifts. And then when we head into next week, we're able to see some more shifts that she does have. So this blue-gray color, these are the shifts that we have. The shifts tell you when your available. And this is very important for online booking. And it is important to note you have full control over how much time is offered, what times a day you offer for online booking. And of course, you can also make sure that you have time where you book just patients that have reached out to you. So you have a lot of flexibility around that. Jane gives you the option to put all of your different treatments. We have 10 different colors, which gives you a good idea just at a glance what is coming up next in your day. As I had mentioned, we do offer online calls, and those calls are launched directly from the appointment panel. So as soon as I click on an appointment, I'm in the appointment panel. I'll see an option to test my video. So up until 1 hour before the call, I'm able to test my setup and make sure everything's working really well. Just a note, your clients will also have this opportunity to do so from the notifications and reminders that they have had, and also from their client portal, their My Account. Once this turns into a launch call button, once we are at the time of the call, and everything happens directly on the screen, we're able to arrive that appointment, which does mean that they have come to the appointment, but they have not yet paid. And you'll notice that once I arrive the appointment, I do have billing info. If this was a cash-based patient, I could add some billing codes for what appropriate to the appointment, and then I would be able to create a super bill from here and collect payment at this time. And of course, we're going to pop in and take a look at what an insurance appointment looks like as well. Any questions before I move on to insurance? Awesome. All right. Okay. So just taking a quick look at today. I'm going to click on my friend Greta here. She has an upcoming video session for today. One of the key things I wanted to show here was that Greta has both primary and secondary insurance. It is possible to bill both primary and secondary through Jane. This is her very first visit, so this is an initial visit. So I only have my primary and secondary policy. I've not yet created any billing codes for Greta at this time. So what we do notice is that as soon as we have policies, we now have claims that are waiting here for some financial information. Currently, it's just going to pull the cash price that is associated directly with the treatment. And as soon as I start adding billing codes, then you'll see that the price will take on the amount of the billing codes. And generally, of course, these are the same. But just important to note that whatever the value of your billing codes are is what is going to be the total value of the session. And then I can add another billing code as well. Well, I usually have my mental health one in here. I'll just grab that one. It'll be fine. Okay, great. So now that I have my billing codes, as soon as I go ahead and arrive this appointment, okay, you were going to see here that Greta does not currently have any copays. All right. So all of this amount is getting billed directly to insurance. So my Blue Cross Blue Shield primary is now sitting in my unsubmitted folder, and my Aetna claim is going to be waiting on that primary claim response to come back. So off goes Blue Cross. Once we get our claim response back from the insurer through the clearinghouse, then we are going to record that payment in Jane. That information then transfers over to your secondary claim, which moves from waiting on primary to the unsubmitted folder, and then that claim gets submitted for approval and payment. All right. So that's the basics of insurance on an appointment directly. And I would love to move on to talking about chart notes and charting, and then a little bit of charting billing codes as well.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Wonderful. So heading to staff, I'm going to head into templates. And now When you start with Jane, we give you one very simple little note template. And if you are very creative or you have a note template that you really love, you can absolutely build a brand new template in Jane. We have what are called our chart parts. These are interactive. So you're able to add in note fields and check boxes, sliding scales, all of that wonderful stuff. So you're able to build the chart note of your dreams right here in Jane. However, I think the coolest thing that Jane has is a very, very large template library. And our template library has thousands of templates that were created by other professionals that they have kindly shared with you. So if we were to head into our counseling discipline and click on a session note, this is a very nice, very simple session note. As you move through them, you'll note that that some absolutely do get quite a bit more elaborate depending on what you like. Once you've found a note that you think is going to work very well for you, but you think, geez, there's just a few things I would like to change. Once you've gone ahead and added that, this note actually now becomes your note and you can edit it and make any changes you would like. You can delete sections, change wording, move things up and down. So getting to the point where you have a session note that's just perfect for what, how the way you like to do your charting. You're not starting from scratch, which is really, really nice. All right. So now that we've created a template, let's go and take a look at what it looks like to chart with one. So I'm going to head back to that day view. And the reason that we love day view is because as soon as I click on an appointment on the left-hand side, I am immediately in that patient's charting area and I'm ready to make a note. When I click on that appointment one more time, the appointment panel that we see from the schedule pops out on the right. So again, I'm able to bring up my note template. So I'm going to go ahead and say I'm doing a new chart entry. Okay. And then I am going to, so there's my new chart entry. And now I would be able to begin my video session from here. And there are a couple of tips and tricks around that. You're able to do, if you do have multiple screens, you could have your call on one screen and your notes on another. If you do everything on one screen, you're able to move Jane to the side. You can shrink the window and it will readjust itself. And you can have your call on one side and your notes on the other. So lots of cool tips and tricks for doing those online appointments. Okay. Couple of key things about charting in Jane. If you like in any one of our text fields, if you're using a device that allows it, you can use the device's microphone to dictate into any one of these fields. We also have something called phrases. So they start with a backslash and you can put in an entire sentence, even an entire paragraph. So if you find as you're going through your session notes, you've typed the same thing again for the third time, you can actually go ahead and highlight it and you're able to actually turn it into a phrase right in the chart. Okay. Then you're able to, of course, click all of your check boxes as you move through the notes and your session. And then once that part is completed, you are able to sign that note. One thing I did want to point out on the left-hand side, we're going to see I have a little unlocked lock on my appointment. This is letting me know that I have a note that is in draft. Once I've gone ahead and signed this note, and Jane will ask you if you're sure you want to sign, because once a note is signed, it can no longer be edited. It can only have a text amendment done to it. Okay. So once I've gone ahead and signed it, my note is now locked and I now have a signed note here as well. All right. A couple of other interesting things about our charting area. If there is a section of the chart that you would like to highlight, you can pin that item and actually bring it to the top. Okay. And then you are also able to unpin that by just clicking that pin. All right. Um, we also have this medical alert field, and the medical alert field is completely administrative, so you can put anything in here. It will never print, and the clients will never see it. So if they do actually have a medical condition or a behavior that you need to be aware of, as or reminded of as soon as you come into the chart, it can go here. This can also be used for things like relationship building. So if they told you that they're excited about a vacation that is coming up, you'd be able to add in a little note to ask about their vacation. And that appears at the top in yellow. Okay. All right. One of the key things I also wanted to note about charting in Jane, and this can be added to a template as well. You are actually able to chart your billing codes. So I'm going to go ahead and open up our appointment panel again, because as we see, I have no billing codes here. When I type in my initial appointment, I started with the pound sign and I'm starting with the word initial. I was a little too fast there. That pulls up my billing code, and then I can also do the same with my ICD-10 code. And now these codes are now going to be associated with this appointment. I go ahead and click select all. I hit update billing, and my billing codes appear in my insurance info. Now, because I don't have a policy, if this person were to pay me cash, I would be able to provide them a super bill to provide to their insurer. Awesome. All right, so we've covered charting, and we talked a little bit about billing. I'm going to talk a little bit more about insurance billing in Jane, and then we'll talk a bit about the import process. I'm going to turn it over for questions. So, under billing in Jane, we have all of our claim submission folders. By default, all of your claims will start in the unsubmitted folder. We do have the option for you to change that workflow depending on how you like to process your claims, whether you do it in-house or you have a biller or something of that nature, or someone that is helping you out with it. You can choose to have those start in draft, which from a workflow purpose means that draft means no one has seen it. So if we click on that, we can see that there are claims in here, and we can see, oh, these ones are missing procedure and diagnosis codes. So the draft folder can be the place where you're actually reviewing everything, and then you're able to move them once you have reviewed them to your unsubmitted folder. And ideally in your unsubmitted folder, that means all of these have been reviewed. They all have, ideally you shouldn't be seeing this where they don't have procedure or diagnosis codes. Okay. And this will be the folder that you submit from. Now, Jane does have a direct integration with a clearinghouse called ClaimMD. Once claims are submitted from the unsubmitted folder they go directly to ClaimMD. We do work with 3 other clearinghouses, Office Ally, TriZetto, and Availity. That involves a little bit of a download upload. So I would create my file by submitting the claims again from here, but I'd be downloading it out of Jane and say uploading it into Office Ally. And then once I got the claim responses back, I'd be downloading those out of Office Ally and uploading them into Jane. The direct integration with ClaimMD is a bit of a time saver for sure, because those things happen automatically. Claims go automatically, remittances come back in automatically, and you're able to deal with things such as rejections directly in Jane without having to go into another program. So if I wanted to, I want to just send all of my primary claims, and let's say I want to send all of my primary Blue Cross claims. Okay, I'm able to grab a few, or I could send all of them at once. Once I go ahead and hit my selected claims button, Jane is going to let me know if any information is missing. So you can see here it says this claim is ready to go. If any had any issues, there would be a big red message here, and it would also highlight on the side what is missing. So Jane is looking for all of the key things that could stop a claim. The patient doesn't have a birth date in there, or they don't have an address or something of that nature. Jane will stop that. Once you've gone ahead and reviewed these, we go ahead and we generate the submission for the 4 claims. And as I mentioned with ClaimMD, off they go. If you were using one of our other ones, you'd be able to download the EDI file that Jane creates and upload it. Once those responses come back from the insurer, they come into a remittances folder. Jane will tell you how much you were paid and how and who paid you. All right. Then you're able to record that directly into Jane. So this is the response from the insurer. This is us recording it directly in Jane. I go ahead and click my record payment button. And now I'm going to go to my responses. So these are all of the claims that exist in Jane that are associated with this payment and this insurer. To go ahead and record that, I can click my view button. Everything at the top here is the response from the insurer by billing code telling me exactly what they paid and why. And then down here, Jane takes that information and automatically puts it into Jane's version of that EOB. So all of that information above is already pre-populated. All I'm doing is just making sure that this looks good. I go ahead and hit apply changes. That claim is now reconciled in Jane. So that is a very high level overview of insurance in Jane. We can definitely dive into it a little bit more in a customized demo if you're interested in learning a little bit more about that. But I would love to talk just a little bit about the import process. But do we have any questions about the insurance flow before I move on? No? Awesome. All right. So I'm going to head into settings. So when it comes to importing from another system in Jane, we do have a lot of guides. We've imported from a lot of different systems. So we do have some guides that live in our Jane guide that go over how you can get your information out of the current system that you have. And basically a lot of it just comes from being able to download reports. So if you are able to get your client profiles, past and future appointments, any of your past session notes, if you have insurance policies, all of that information if you can get it out of your current system, can come into Jane. Okay. What we do is for Jane's part, we get you to schedule an import, letting Jane know what it is you're bringing over and where it is you're coming from. Okay. And you give yourself a little bit of time to get that data out of your old system. And just to be clear, we're basically just downloading whatever it is they give you. These are the raw files and the raw data. And then this area in Jane actually becomes an upload area because, of course, this is information that needs to stay secure. So this becomes a secure upload area. And you just take those files directly from your old system and you're going to put them directly in that upload area. And then our imports team takes over. So from that period where you have uploaded the data, it takes Jane 2 days to get that information into Jane, to get your clients moved over, and all of that wonderful stuff, all your past and future appointments. One thing that is important to note is that billing data cannot be imported from other systems. So if you have clients with credits or clients with outstanding balances, we do have some workflows to help you get that information into Jane after the import. But it is key to note that that information cannot be imported over. So any questions about the import process or?
No, we're looking good so far. Thank you.
Awesome. Amazing. All right. So just heading back in. So we have covered our online booking. We talked a little bit about charting, billing and the payment processing and our importing basics. Would we like to move to questions or should we talk a little bit more about, because we did get to talk charting, but not so much intake forms?
Yeah, did you, Gabs, unless you have any other recommendations or suggestions, we could show the new intake assessment form that we put in there from Gabs.
Yeah, I would love that if we could show that, because I know that a lot of people in this group already use my note template, and now my assessment template has been uploaded for everyone, so you can go in and use that too. I also think, Amy, there's a lot of people in the group who do like supervisory billing. So
Yes.
if you could show that workflow a little bit when people need to have their notes signed off on and what that looks like.
Absolutely, we can talk about that. All right, so I'm going to pop back to my demo clinic here. And then let's talk about the supervisory workflow, and then we'll flow into the intake forms. So we have a new workflow called supervision in Jane, and we are able to create supervisory relationships between one practitioner and another. So if, for example, we had, let's say, Dr. Marcus Gregory was supervising Maya. That's who I'm currently logged in as. I'm able to set up this workflow so that every time I create a chart note as Maya, that chart note goes into a second stage where it moves from I sign it, and then it goes into approval process for Dr. Gregory to review. And I'll show you what that looks like. I'm going to go ahead and finish setting up my relationship. Key thing about this is that one person can supervise multiple people. Currently, in this first version, we don't have the option for one supervisee to have multiple supervisors, but that is coming in a future iteration. All right. So I'm going to just head into a client chart. And I'm going to add my progress note in here. Now, with the new supervisor workflow turned on, once I go ahead and add my signature, okay, for me, this note will be signed, but it moves to a state called pending review. Okay, so I have added my signature to this, and now this note is under Dr. Gregory's chart area. So if he were to go to staff and go to and click on himself, and he would be able to see in his supervision tab the notes that he has pending to review. Okay, he's able to review this, and with this workflow, he can choose to sign off on this once he's reviewed it, or if he has feedback or wants something changed, he can send that note back to to Maya so that she can make those changes. Okay, so that's an exciting new workflow that we've been working on that I think is going to be really wonderful. So that is part of the chart note process. Now let's talk a little bit about how that looks from a billing perspective. So for Maya, every staff member has a billing section within their staff area, and you're able to set up default claim information. So let's say Maya is just a student, or she's a supervisee, and she actually isn't able to bill out directly on her own. We are able to set up the default claim information for Maya to make sure that the billing provider is the supervisor, and the custom rendering provider, whatever you need, that can be set to default here as well. So from both a chart note standpoint, where we have that supervision workflow for making sure those charts are signed and reviewed, to making sure that the claim information has the correct information on it if it's the supervisor they're billing as, all of that can be done within Jane on the staff profiles. Awesome. So if there's no questions about that workflow, I'm going to head into settings, and let's talk about the intake paperwork. So I'm going to head into forms and surveys, and we have intake forms. We also do offer things such as clinical surveys, which can be sent out before or after appointments. And then, of course, we do have a ratings and reviews, which on certain plans can also be attached to Google reviews as well. I'm going to go ahead and click View Forms next to my intake form button, and I'm going to go ahead and click New Intake Form. So from here, I'm able to put in, I can make a name for my form. So I'm just going to go with a very simple mental health intake. I can set this up to make sure that it automatically is prompting patients who have never completed the form before. If for any reason this is a form I want to be able to manually send out only to select people, I'm able to set this form to manual, and I'm able to send it out from their client profile. Okay. I can choose how long this form is valid for, and then I can put in a custom introduction, which may include some instructions if there's any information you would like them to know before they start the questionnaire. Another key part about our intake forms is the appointment type tab. So if you offer several different types, like you probably want a different intake form for maybe group sessions or family counseling than you would for an individual. So you are able to actually assign an intake form right down to a specific treatment. So if I wanted to make sure that this only went out with one of my options, I would just be able to go ahead. I want this one to go out with an initial visit. And that is the only time when a new client books this initial visit, this paperwork will go. From there, I'm able to choose what fields I would like to include for demographics. So anything that they complete on here automatically populates the demographics area of the client profile. We are able to work with things such as pronouns and sex and gender, which can definitely be very important in this space to make sure that people are able to put in the names and information that is what they identify. And then from there, we're also able to we're moved to the credit card section. So if you have Jane payments, you're actually able to collect credit card information during the intake process. You're letting them know why you're gathering the information. Your cancellation policy is here, and they actually have to declare that they have read and understand your cancellation policy. We also have the opportunity to include insurance information. So for those insurance accepting clinics, you're going to be able to get the information from their insurance card, and you can ask them to upload both the front and the back of their insurance cards as well. Once they've filled out this information and submitted this intake form, it creates the insurance policy on their client profile automatically in Jane. And all you have to do is on their initial appointment, just review it to make sure that the image of the card and the information they typed in match, just in case somebody transposed a number. But they're able to provide that information to you through this process. And then now here's the exciting part is the questionnaire. And this is where we're able to utilize our template library again. So that template library that has all of those chart notes also has some intake forms in it. And Gabrielle, do you have a specific name that you named your intake?
I think we have it under GJV.
Consulting, yeah. Yeah.
There it is. Beautiful. So the just like we did with creating our chart note template or our session note templates, we're able to search, click on it, and then we can go ahead and insert this entire template, and there's your questionnaire. If there's anything that for any reason you would need to change, or at the very bottom you would like to add a new section to gather some extra information, you're going to be able to do so. We can go ahead and we can add another notes field. We can add in some other checkboxes or a drop down. But I'm sure this template is absolutely awesome as it is. So we're going to go ahead and click our next. And then we're going to talk a little bit about consents. Okay. So by default, Jane gives you 3. They give you accuracy of information, privacy and sharing, which is HIPAA, but some people like very specific wording around there. So of course, anything that we provide you here can be changed. And then we also, again, reiterate your cancellation policy. If you are collecting credit card information and your cancellation policy and the declaration is done there, you can choose to remove it here. You're also able to add a new consent. Okay, so if there's a very specific consent that you would like them to fill out, and even as consent for a specific treatment, because that comes back to being able to have your intake forms for a specific treatment. You're able to give it a name, put in text within the text area. This is, oh my goodness, this is like you're able to put in whatever text you would like. You can do a declaration. So either they must agree, they can agree or disagree, or they can acknowledge this statement above with their initials. Okay. We recommend that you do, because you will find within our template library that we do absolutely have some consent templates that you can put into the questionnaires section. The reason that we recommend that you take that information and copy and paste it into an area in the consents is that you'll notice that information can sometimes be changed, and we don't want the ability for a client to be able to change any information within a consent before signing. So this would be the place we would recommend you do that. And that is the beginning to end broad overview of creating an intake form in Jane.
I have another question, Amy. If you
Yes.
could also show us, because, I'm obsessed with like tracking data. And then I
Mhm.
think, especially for group practices, that's really important. If you could show us a little bit about like the reporting features that Jane has, because I think they're great and especially helpful for our group practices.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So Jane does have a reports area. Access to reports is based on your staff permissions. So the account owner or a full access user can see all of the reports that we're seeing over here on the left-hand side. You are able to set, if like you're in a group practice and you would like more privacy around what your practitioners can and can't see and what they can and can't access from a report standpoint. Changing their permissions will change what they can see from a reporting standpoint, and they will only be able to see any reporting information that is directly related to themselves. So they wouldn't be able to see, all of the numbers for the entire clinic. Okay. From here, like definitely when we're taking a look at our billing reports, we have some really great billing reports, but there are some really great reports here. Things such as your top clients, that can be a really great report. The other one would be your unscheduled clients. So this one is if it's been a while since you've last seen someone, they started and then things happened, maybe they had to cancel an appointment. You're able to use the unscheduled clients um, list to be able to see how long has it been since they've been in, how long has it been since they've been into the clinic, how long has it been since they've been in to see a specific practitioner, and then you're able to just do a gentle reminder directly from this point to let them know, hey, it's been a while since we've seen you. Okay. um, then, of course, within our billing, we have our billing summary, which is an overview of your sales, your income, um, tax paid, transactions, and any credits that may live on any accounts. This is sort of a one stop kind of shop. Quick snapshot overview. You're able to set a date range for this report, and you can do it by all staff members, or you are able to filter down into the summary for one specific staff member as well. Um, all of these sections, such as the sales, they all have corresponding reports, so you can get a little more data. So if I were to go into the sales report, I'm going to be able to see all of my sales within a specific date range, and I'm able to break that down into one staff member, several staff members, everybody. In the discipline, I can also pull this by what invoice states. Like I would like to see any of my unpaid invoices on the sales report. You're able to do that. And all of our reports are exportable to a spreadsheet program. So you can do it as a CSV, you can export it as an Excel file. So you can play with this data further as well outside of Jane. You're able to track your accounts receivable. You're able to track it as including insurance and patient outstanding. And then, of course, you're able to just filter out just your insurance outstanding, and then just your private pay as well, all your patient account outstanding. All right. We of course have transaction reporting as well as a cash reconciliation report, which is a fantastic report if you are using other forms of payment methods other than just Jane payments. Because if somebody wants to pay you cash, or they want to write you a check, or let's say you accept another type of another form of payment, somebody's going to Venmo you, you're able to create those payment methods. And then the cash reconciliation report is a fantastic one, because at the end of the day, it's going to show you all of the transactions, how they were paid, and that's going to include those Jane payments transactions as well, how they were paid, and what it was applied to. Any other specific reports you think would be awesome to touch on, Gabrielle? Any report that's your favorite?
You went through all the best ones. So.
Yes.
That's exactly what I was looking for.
Awesome. Yeah, we definitely have some really great reports. And if you ever, of course, have questions about the reports, our support team is there to help you. We need to figure out, I'd like to see all of my appointments. We do have some really great appointment reporting as well. So definitely, if you have questions about any of the reports, about any of the things I've talked about today, Jane has, and I'm going to toot my own horn here a little bit, Jane has pretty amazing support. And we're really knowledgeable, and our US support team is knowledgeable about US insurance. We're knowledgeable about the reporting, the scheduling, your online booking, you name it. If you need us, reach out to us for sure.
Amazing. And do we maybe want to wrap up with just pricing, overviewing of different plans that Jane offers? And then we don't have any questions, but if there are any, I'll pop them in as well.
Sounds awesome. All right, so let's talk a little bit about pricing. So we have 3 pricing plans that are broken out by different types of features. So let's start with our balance plan. So our balance plan is sort of perfect for the solo practitioner, ideally even someone who is just starting out, or their practice is sort of something that they're building over time, maybe a bit of a side hustle. The reason for that is that our balance plan, you have to be a single practitioner. You have to have a single practitioner profile. You can have up to 20 appointments per month. And on this plan, there is no online booking side, but you're able to schedule it administratively. The other piece about that is that you can send email and SMS payment requests. Like, so if somebody owes you some money, you can send them off a text for that. But our text reminders for appointments are not available on this plan. Your appointments reminders on this plan are email only. Okay. You are able to add on our online appointments for groups. So if you do offer group counseling, couples counseling, where several devices need to connect to one call, you're able to add that appointments for groups on here. The other key thing about the balance plan is that it doesn't have the ability to have the insurance module added onto it. Okay. Our practice plan is a great one for most clinics. It does offer that online booking, so it offers everything we see on balance, but it also offers online booking, unlimited appointments, unlimited staff profiles. You're able to have those SMS appointment reminders, and then of course you can add on that billing piece. That billing piece is a $20 addition to the cost. And one key thing about our cost here is that our practice plan cost, this $99, includes 1 license. And then for a group practice, any of your part-time staff, so if they have less than 24 booked hours in a week, would be an additional $20. And then any other full-time practitioners, they would be $40 a month added onto your practice plan. Once your plan gets larger, like if you end up growing into a lovely large clinic, Jane does have some corporate pricing as well that starts around 10 licenses, as something that you would reach out to us for. Key thing about this as well is that if you have supporting staff, administrative staff, billers, they do not have a license cost. Okay. On our Thrive plan, this includes some other key features. This includes that rating and reviews piece and the Google Analytics integration, the return visit reminders, and packages and memberships. There's also some advanced scheduling features. Again, the Thrive plan has probably more features than a lot of our mental health clinics would use, but definitely there's some key features there. And of course, on top of that, you can add on those online appointments for groups. Awesome. So is there any other key things we'd like to cover?
No, I think that's good for now, but I would love to, continue the conversation, wrap it up.
Absolutely. So if you we absolutely have some really awesome Facebook communities as well. So if you head over to the Jane community on Facebook, you're going to find a lot of other Jane users and non-Jane users. We also, for those practitioners that offer insurance billing, we have a Jane billing community on Facebook as well, which can be wildly helpful if you have questions about billing in Jane, and you can get support from other people, as well as there are billers in that group, which can also be awesome for helping you get answers to questions. Jane offers and through our lovely ambassador, we have a grace code for 1 month of Jane. So that first month of Jane is on us. So if you're interested in signing up, you can use that code. I also highly encourage you to do. I know we covered a lot of things today, but I do highly encourage you to do a customized demo with our support team. We're able to gather a little bit of information from you. Then we set up our Jane demo account, and we walk through those features and things that are going to be very important to you, and give you a bit of a deeper dive, as well as being able to answer your questions one-on-one within the demo. And then you also get the opportunity after that call to have a demo site of your own with some pre-populated data if you want to test things out and try them out. And then once you're ready to make the move to sign up to Jane, you're going to be able to use that code for a 3 month of Jane. Awesome.
Thanks so much, Amy and Lauren, for being here today. This was very helpful per usual. And I'm just really excited that Jane exists and can support our group practice owners. I know I used a different EHR when I was in practice, and the reports were not as robust as Jane's. And so I love that you went over that for us, because that was a big deal when I was selling. Of course, there were like a lot of reports that they needed that the EHR I was using did not have. So there's so many things I love about Jane, but I just wanted to point that out because I know that's really important for us as group practice owners to track that data. So
Absolutely. Another key thing that Jane does offer, even and above those demos, once you've gone ahead and if you've signed up for Jane, you're in the middle of your 1 month free, you're able to take advantage of things called account setup consultations. So back to that idea that our support is really, really there for you. Account setup consultations are done with our support team, and we are happy to walk you through getting your account set up. So getting your staff members added in. Do you want to go over some reports? Do you want to talk about the best way to set some things up, such as income categories and that type of thing, for compensation of staff, if you'd like to use our compensation model? There's so many things that Jane can do, and our support team is absolutely there to help walk you through how to use them and how to get them set up.
perfect. Thank you so much. And anybody who is watching the replay, of course, put hashtag replay so we can come back and answer your questions. And then I will also drop the link below in the comments if you want to schedule your own personalized demo, and then my grace period code as well, so you can try out Jane for a month.
Amazing. Thank you so much for having me. I love to talk about Jane, and this I got to Babylon, and it was awesome. So
We love
looking forward to yes. Awesome. If you have questions, don't hesitate to reach out to our amazing support team. We're there to help.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Gabrielle.
Thank you. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.